I recently had to experience something that scarred me for life, but what I did after was even crazier. "The shed's yours now, Rachel. Family gets the bedrooms," my mother-in-law hissed while mourners still mingled beside my late father-in-law's casket. Her words punched like sleet, but the deeper cut landed when my husband Mark only shrugged. That night, I curled on a sagging cot beside rusty lawn tools, rain tapping a concerto on the tin roof. A fat spider skittered across my pillow, and something inside me snapped. They thought I was powerless, yet the deed tucked in my suitcase said otherwise. I'd been quiet, loyal, but never stupid. Stay in the shed? Fine. I'd sell the entire estate out from under them. But before we begin, let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. The morning after the funeral, gray light seeped through the shed's single cracked window. My muscles ached from the cold concrete floor, but fury kept me upright. Can you picture that damp smell of gasoline clinging to your pajamas? I could almost taste the humiliation it carried. Mark padded past the window on his way to the main house, coffee steaming, not a glance in my direction. The estate's clapboard manor loomed beyond the herb garden, 4,000 square feet of claptrap grandeur that once thrilled me. 6 years earlier, I'd swapped my Seattle marketing job for North Carolina's pine-scented quiet, thinking marriage meant partnership. Instead, Mark slipped back into boyhood comfort while I became unpaid staff. When his mother, Eleanor, decided the guest rooms were for blood relatives only, my exile was complete. She even handed me a ring of brass keys, one for the shed, none for the house. 10 minutes later, Eleanor barked my new chores: launder linens, iron dress shirts, prep casseroles for visiting cousins. Her tone was sugar-coated ice. I replied with a smile that must have looked loyal. Inside, moiling lava. I'd bury my rage beneath obedience until the moment was right. By Tuesday, Eleanor announced a grand memorial gala just 2 weeks away. Politicians, bankers, the town's gossip columnists, everyone invited to honor Howard's legacy. Translation: display the family's wealth. I pressed a chilled lasagna into the freezer and whispered, "You're planning a showcase on land that isn't yours." See, 3 months before his heart attack, my father-in-law had surprised me at the dock behind the house. Water reflected autumn gold while he signed fresh paperwork. "You keep this place running, Rachel. You deserve security." He'd transferred full ownership to me, naming Mark and Eleanor only as life tenants. Howard never told them. The envelope labeled, "Deed Keep Safe," now hid beneath my cot, humidity warping its corners, but the ink was ironclad. Wednesday dawn painted the sky like peach jam. I drove Eleanor's dented pickup into town, the engine coughing in protest, and knocked on my college roommate Maya Thompson's real estate office door. Maya, fierce in a crimson blazer, raised an eyebrow. "Ready to cash out?" "Yesterday," I said. She scanned the deed, whistled low. "Market sizzling. List today, will have offers by Friday." We concocted a plan tighter than fresh-packed earth. The estate would appear online under an LLC I'd formed years ago, Sparrow's Nest Holdings. My full name stayed off public record, and showings would happen while the family traveled to Atlanta next week for cousin Daphne's wedding. Eleanor herself had booked my train ticket, coach class, so I'd seem obediently gone. Perfect camouflage. Ever smelled funnel cake sugar swirling at a small-town fair? That Thursday scent yanked me back to junior high dates as I slipped into the county clerk's office, nostalgia stinging. Within an hour, the listing went live. Historic Lakeview Manor, 5-bed, 4-bath, private dock, guest cottage, 18 wooded acres. Asking price, $2.9 million. Photos? I'd taken them quietly at dawn, each room gleaming yet hollow. Friday, 48 hours after my first shed sleep, 3 offers poured in. A tech couple from Charlotte pushed past list price with a no-contingency cash bid, closing in 10 days, exactly 1 day before Eleanor's gala. The deposit hit Sparrow's Nest's account by sunset. Back at the estate, I chopped vegetables at the kitchen island, while Eleanor's bridge partner admired antique chandeliers. Mark snapped orders at me about flower arrangements. Have you ever wanted to fling a knife straight through self-importance? I clenched the hilt, inhaled, and chose patience. Sunday storm clouds built like bruises. Eleanor cornered me in the laundry room, her pearls glinting. Remember, Rachel, loyalty keeps a roof over your head. I almost laughed. Absolutely, I said, folding monogrammed napkins with reverence. Inside my head, wait till you meet the new landlord. 2 days later, the family left for Daphne's wedding. I waved from the porch, keys dangling. The SUV tires whispered off the gravel drive, and silence flooded the manor. By noon, Maya conducted the buyer's inspection. Everything sailed through. That night, I celebrated alone with a mug of cocoa, sitting in Howard's leather chair, rain thrumming the porch roof. I pictured Eleanor's face when the sale recorded, bittersweet dessert. Yet guilt nipped me. Howard had loved his family, spiteful warts and all. Was I betraying his memory? At 2 a.m., I paced the dark hallway, tears prickling. But then I touched the bruise on my forearm. Eleanor had grabbed me yesterday when a floral ribbon slipped. Tender skin reminded me. They'd reduced me to property. I owed my younger self rescue. The following Thursday, I boarded the early train to Atlanta as planned. Appearance mattered. Suitcase packed, one dress, laptop, deed copy, and a sealed envelope addressed to Eleanor. In my inbox, the attorney sent wire confirmation. Net proceeds, $2.71 million. Already in Sparrow's Nest. My pulse drummed like a hummingbird's wings. At Cousin Daphne's rehearsal dinner, Eleanor gloated to anyone within earshot about her upcoming gala. Mark paraded pictures of the lake view. Have you ever watched someone brag about riches that no longer belong to them? I nearly choked on chicken marsala. Saturday morning, closing documents were recorded at the county courthouse. Maya texted a single key emoji. I slipped away to the hotel business center and scheduled a courier. Envelope to arrive at Lakeview Manor by 3 p.m., timed perfectly with the family's return. Inside, a polite letter notifying occupants they had 30 days to vacate per new ownership terms, plus copies of the recorded deed. No snark, just the cold authority of ink. We returned to North Carolina Sunday afternoon, when Eleanor's Lexus curved onto the driveway, a crisp white for sale, sold rider hung beneath my sign. A second sign, private property, graced the gate, padlocked. Mark slammed the steering wheel. Eleanor's pearls rattled against the window. Her mouth formed silent curses. I stepped out first, suitcase in hand. The courier's notice fluttered on the gatepost. Mark ripped it open, scanning. His face drained chalk white. You sold it? That's impossible. Actually, I said, voice steady, it was entirely legal. Eleanor lunged. This is your husband's birthright. I met her glare. Howard disagreed. Neighbors slowed their cars, gawking. Eleanor's precious social standing cracked before my eyes. Mark's phone buzzed. His business partner alerting him the line of credit tied to the property's equity was frozen. Double loss, home and business in one swing. I almost pitied him. Almost. While they stormed about legal action, I walked to the shed. My life compressed into 2 suitcases and a cedar jewelry box. The spider that haunted my first night crouched in a corner web. I whispered, "Thanks for the motivation, friend," and left the door ajar. Minutes later, a moving truck, arranged by Maya, arrived for the furniture I actually owned. Eleanor shrieked threats, reputational ruin, court battles, eternal damnation. I simply handed her the spare shed key. Plenty of room for you in there. At dusk, I met Maya at the main road. She leaned out of her Jeep, grinning. Ready for phase 2? Absolutely, I said, climbing in. Behind us, the manor's windows glowed gold. One last sunset before new owners took possession. As we pulled away, a red maple leaf spiraled onto the sold sign, a fiery punctuation mark. We headed west toward Asheville, where I'd already put an offer on a brick bungalow, cash. My bank app showed the wire for the down payment clearing. The rest of the money? Seed capital for the boutique marketing firm I'd shelved long ago. Imagine turning humiliation into a launch pad. Feels electric, right? 2 weeks later, while unpacking pottery mugs in my new kitchen, an email pinged. The Charlotte couple attached a photograph. Eleanor and Mark hauling boxes into the shed, expressions stormy. The buyer's caption read, "Thought you'd appreciate the symmetry." I laughed so hard, coffee sloshed onto the counter. That evening, cicadas droned as I hung a brass phoenix wind chime on my porch, the symbol Howard once carved onto the boathouse beam. Its wings flickered copper in porch-light glow, singing in soft wind. I toasted the night air with sweet tea. "Never box a woman into a corner," I murmured, words etched by flame and freedom. I believe stories like this find us for a reason. If this one touched you, please subscribe. I share a new one every day, and tomorrow's might be the one your heart's been waiting for.